everybody, I'm Ian Sweeten. Welcome to Eurosport's continued coverage of the sport of triathlon. And today, well, we're in Holland. We're in Almere for the Dutch triathlon, the Holland Triathlon. And it's been in Almere since 1988. It was a couple of years before that, I think just outside of Amsterdam, but then it moved to Almere, which is actually a reclaimed city. And I think this is a unique triathlon, and it's the only one that takes place underneath the sea. Yep, the actual sea level is above the city of Almere. In fact, it's actually 4 cities in one making up this beautiful area in Holland, the Almere area. Perhaps more famous for its scooter racing. That's the scooter you can see in the picture there. One of the old barges that used to carry the crops and the grains from the farmers down into the big city centres along the many dikes, the many canals that are in Holland. Used to be the only form of transport many, many years ago. But we're in Almere, and they've built a brand new stadium for the sport this year. It's always been extremely popular with the supporters, with the folk of Almere. And they really have taken this event to heart, just like those down in Ironman Europe in Roth, when literally tens and tens of thousands of people come out to watch it. And for the first time that I can remember in many years, we have perfect conditions. This is very flat, it's very fast, but it's also traditionally very windy, and the wind's not up today, so it's not too bad. This is Frank Heldorn, the pre-race favourite, but he has a problem, and he tells us that his problem is his knee. He's got a knee injury, and he couldn't train in the past few weeks, and the problems are still going on, and I don't think he's going to compete today, or certainly won't give him a good performance. Jan van der Maal, who must be the favourite now.
Yes, I think I'm the favourite because of the results of the last 3 years, and only Frank and I and Olivier Bernard were on stage here, and I think since Olivier isn't here and since Frank Heldorn isn't here, it's fair to think that I'm the top favourite, yes, and I hope I can fulfill that.
Van der Maal was second last year. This is Michael Ittman. He was 6th in Almere in 1995. Martin Brodijk, 5th in Almere back in 1992. And Vic van Tricht, another Dutchman, 3rd in 93 in Almere. And he was 2nd in Ironman Lanzarote that year as well. This is from Hungary, Tibor Lehmann. Pretty new to this distance, but he was 7th in Powerman Spalt in Germany, which is coming up on Eurosport. And the favourite for the women must be Katinka Wiltenberg.
No, Almere is a totally different competition. There are only 700 competitors here instead of 2,200 in Roth. So, no, that won't be a problem today.
She's just told us about the problems she had in Roth with drafting when she was disqualified. This is Cora Flott, 3rd in 1995. And Bianca van Vozek won here back in 1993. Jacqueline van Vliet, another Dutch woman. She was 4th in the Volcano Triathlon in Lanzarote in 1994. And I think this is her first attempt over the Ironman distance. Well, back in 1998, Bam van Zelst won for the men in 8:35. And for the women, it was Irma Schwartz-Cruz in 9:50. But Heldorn, Frank Heldorn, we saw him earlier, he holds the course record here of 8:10:58. That's 8 hours, 10 minutes and 58 seconds. And Katinka Wiltenberg, with her win last year, well, she went 8 or 9 hours, 2 minutes and 32 seconds. And she has said to us that she's trying to get under the 9-hour barrier after her disappointment in Roth, where I mentioned she was disqualified for drafting or taking pace on the bike section. And the bike section, of course, in the Ironman distance is 180 kilometers. That's 112 miles. But they start off with a swim. And the swim is 3.8 kilometers, 2.4 miles. And in Almere, they have, as is traditional within the sport of Ironman distance events, one start. They all go off together. And there are just over 800 athletes, men and women, predominantly men. Early leader, well, that's number 71. That's Michael van der Hoeven from Holland. He's really a swim specialist. We don't know much about him. Behind, we've got Dennis van Hinten and Robin Boone, another couple of Dutchmen. There we are, battling. I don't know why they really do stick together like glue. Better off going slightly behind. I suppose it's early days and they've got to be spread out. You can see on the rider picture all those boats. Well, that is the scooter, the old barge I mentioned in the introduction. This is Michael van der Hoeven, the Dutchman, setting a pretty good place here. It's traditionally a fairly easy swim because there's no currents in this particular bit of water. So still, the Van Hinten and Robin Boone seem to be stuck together. Peter Dilo, that's 4:44.5 in the back of the picture, and Hans Bencher, number 144 nearest us. Another couple of Dutchmen, predominantly Dutchmen, as this is the Dutch, I'm not sure if it's the Dutch Championship. This is the lead woman, Bianca van Wozik from Australia. You would have thought with a name like Bianca van Wozik, she's Dutch. Well, she does have Dutch parents, if I remember, but she was born in Australia, lives in Australia, but she spent a lot of time over here. Second is Sophie Pertzel of Hungary. Sophie's actually a fine swimmer, and I'm surprised she's not up in major contention with Van Wozik. For number one, Jan van der Maal. He's got the number one hat, second last year behind Olivier Bernard. Of course, he's not racing here. He did tell us because he decided to race in Euroman in Switzerland, where he finished second behind the German Alexander Talbot. And surprisingly, there are no Germans in the field. If you think the strength, certainly of Ironman distance, not just within Europe, but in the world, are the Germans, you think they'll be here. But this is Katinka Wiltenberg. She's back in, what, third position at the moment. She's about a minute or so behind Van Wozik. And we just got a glimpse of another red hat beside her. That was another Dutch woman, Cora Vlot, one of the favourites also for this competition. But it's still Van der Hoofen, number 71, who leads. He's on his way back. It's just about a rectangle. They go out just over the mile, swim about 100 meters across, then come back. You can just see the scoocher, typical early morning mist, because it is pretty early here. They kick off just after sunrise. Because it's a long day in the saddle for most of them. The elites, the professionals, will be taking round about 8 or so hours for the men and about 9 hours for the women. But for the rest of them, well, they could be out here all day, 16, 17, 18 hours. So Van Hinten is in third position, whereas number 10 there. And behind him is Peter Dilo, also from Holland. There he is, number 445. And if we spread back through a little bit, a few more we'll see. Ruud Schweitzer. And also Alexander Debuta from Russia, just on the far side of the picture. But as they swim towards the swim finish, we'll go for our first break and come back for that finish. To Holland for the Dutch Triathlon, the biggest and most prestigious event in Holland. We're coming up towards the opening, or the end of the opening discipline, the 2.4 mile, 3.8 kilometer swim. And he's led throughout. This is number 71. This is Michael van der Hooven from Holland, and he's come out of the water in just a fraction over 47 minutes and 20 seconds, and that is an extremely good time for the Ironman distance swim. So Van Hooven, now we've got to see if he can bike. He certainly can swim. Look at those shoulders, very powerfully built. Behind him we've got Robin Boone. He's second out in that major group, 1:35 minutes behind Van der Hooven. He's in 48 minutes and 55 seconds, also in that group. With Boone and Dilo. Jan van der Maal, he's way off the pace at the moment, the pre-race favourite. We understand he's back in about 19th, 20th position as our lead swimmer. Michael van der Hooven gets on his bike and starts off on this 180 kilometer bike ride. It's Van Hinten right behind him, and Dilo going out as well. But this is Jan van der Maal. He's in the bike park. He's in the changing tent at the moment. He's just going to run into the bike park. 50 minutes and 36 seconds. So he's 3 minutes and 16 seconds adrift of the leader at the moment. But I don't think he'll be too concerned because his strength is the bike and certainly the run. He's recently come off, third position in the Ironman Europe at Roth just a few weeks ago when he went 8 hours, 12 minutes and 53 seconds. So this is the bike course. It is 180 kilometers, made up of 6 laps of just about 34 kilometers each. Very fast, very flat, traditionally very windy, but not today. So we've got virtually ideal conditions, and I would think the course records could well be in jeopardy. I should think Frank Heldon's a bit sick that he's not fit enough to race, because he would be a serious contender, of course, coming off that win in Ironman Lanzarote earlier this year, when also the defending champion, Katinka Wiltenberg, also won for the second time on that beautiful volcanic island down in the Canary Islands. This is our leader. This is Van der Hoven, and you can see he's a little bit upright, really, for the real triathlon, the real biking position now that's been developed over the last few years. Really, from this sport has moved on then to the sport of cycling. We've seen it quite a lot in recent weeks, and it's certainly been shown that it is the fastest, the most aerodynamic position to be in on the bicycle. So Dennis van der Hinden second, Robin Boone is in third position. It's him just going through the picture, and the bunches are forming up behind. 800 or so athletes on a 34-kilometer course. That's fairly tight going. So, of course, in the Ironman distance event, no drafting, but this is really the favourite now. He's getting his act together. Jan van der Marl, he's coming up through. He certainly knows all about winning here because he won this event back in 1993 when he went 8 hours, 16 minutes and 21 seconds, and looking through my records, that's the second fastest ever time on this course. But Dirk van Gossem from Belgium now is getting into his stride as well. He's sneaking up behind Jan van der Marl and Van Gossem. Well, he had that great race. For those of you who watched the European Long Distance Championships last year in Yuma, up in the northern Germany, you can remember that Van Gossem did a tremendous bike ride and just faded a little bit on the closing stages. This is Bredijk in, what's he in, fourth position at the moment, and Eatman is with him as well. So Bredijk here, seen in the picture with Eatman just behind. And I can tell you that Bianca van Vozek was first out of the water for the women, and she's certainly leading the bike at the moment. In fact, she's leading by some considerable margin and going from strength to strength at the 30-kilometer point. She went through in 1 hour, 42 minutes and 15 seconds. She was nearly 2 minutes up on Katinka Wiltenberg here, seen in second position, 1 minute and 50 seconds adrift. So Wiltenberg, after her traditionally slow swim, I won't say poor swim because she's not a poor swimmer, she just finds it difficult to go pretty quick. Her strength is certainly the bike and the run, and when you look at her, she really is a minute woman, very small, very petite. But she generates huge amounts of power. This is Van Gossem now. He's in second position for the men. And he's just down the road from Van der Marl. If we look up, there we are. There is Van der Marl. I don't know who the guy in green is. I suspect he's one of the age groupers being lapped. So Van der Marl, the Dutchman, leads. The 28-year-old from Terraar in Holland. Back in 1993. Not only did he win this event, but he was second in the big Zundert Triathlon, which is now a European Cup race. I think it has been there for about 3 years. Number 3, that's Michael Eatman. He's one in fourth position with Martin Bredijk. Here he is. They seem to be sticking together like glue. Nice helmet, don't you think so? And the people they're overtaking are on at least 1 lap left. Bear in mind, I did mention 6 laps make up this 180-kilometer bike course, and totally closed to traffic. That's unusual. We normally get a bit of traffic on some of the roads, but not here. It is totally closed. So Jan de Marl looks as though he's got the local support. I'm not sure how far Terraar is from Almere, but I understand his parents are out on the track giving him great support. Van Gossem in second place for Belgium. I'm surprised that Jan van der Marl is actually racing, because he only raced in Brood just a few weeks ago and had that great race there, going 8 hours, 12 minutes and 53 seconds on another fast day when Lotte Leder, the German, broke the world record, went 7:57. First person ever to go under 8 hours. That's Michael Eatman and Martin Bredijk still sticking together like glue. Looks like Van Hinten here is down in fourth or so position. It's like Robin Boone is still there. And Peter Dilo and Ray Rulin are also in that position. But this is Van der Marl. He's coming up towards the end of the bike ride. I can tell you that Bianca van Vosik has stretched her lead to just over 7 minutes in the women's division. She really is biking like a mad woman at the moment. And whether she's going to blow herself out for the run, I'm not so sure. But certainly Van der Marl is in good position. He's come off the bike now. And, well, he's on course record pace at the moment. Van Gossem, I did mention that it's ideal conditions, very unusual here in Almere. It's normally because it's so open, very windy, but not today. So Van Gossem is in second position. You can see he's just a few seconds behind Van der Marl. In fact, he's 4 hours, 28 minutes and 49 seconds was Van Gossem's bike, as opposed to Van der Marl, who went 4 hours, 24 minutes and 26. And that is shifty biking. Over 180 kilometers. Dijk, well, he was down in what, third position? The fourth position was Eatman. And Van der Tricht was in there. We haven't seen much of him, the Dutchman. But there they've got to make their final change. This is Bianca van Vosik coming off the bike, 7 minutes in front of Katinka Wildberger. We'll go for a short break. Triathlon in Almere, and we're coming up to the final discipline, the marathon run. 42.2 kilometers, 26 miles, 185 meters, 365 yards or something. And again, this is a 2-lap affair. Well, it's a lap affair, but this time 2 laps. And I remember we were here about 3 years ago. No, in fact, 1993, when it was the European Championships. And the weather was horrendous. It was blowing right across these dikes. You can see it very, very exposed. But when the weather is kind, as it is today, we're going to have some very, very fast times. So we just got a glimpse of the lead woman going out onto the bike. That was out onto the final run, should I say, off the bike, Bianca van Vosik. We didn't have time to tell you, but she was 5 hours, 48 minutes and 48 seconds overall with a 4-hour 55 bike ride, and 7 minutes and 20 seconds, or 7 minutes and 10 seconds behind Katinka Wildberger, the defending champion and the pre-race favourite. But for the men, we had a quick glimpse of Jan van der Marl, who is pulling away now from Dirk van Gossem in the picture there. He's in second position for Belgium. And in third position and fourth position, they've been together virtually throughout so far, is Dijk and Eatman, a couple of Dutchmen. Perhaps we call them the Dutch double. And Rick van der Tricht, well, he's back in fifth position. This is Dijk. There we are. This is Rick van der Tricht. Shouts across to his fellow teammate. They both race for the same team, the same club, and that was Jan van der Marl heading back towards Almere. So it's really 10 kilometers out. They turn around and come back, so that's halfway. Well, just another kilometer or so. Then they go out again and do it again. So it's very pleasant. You can see exactly what's happening. That was Marcel Schvoort of Holland. He's moving up through. He came off the bike at 11th position. We understand he's in 5th position, so that's a good performance by him. This is Boone, had that good swim, reasonable bike, but he's starting to fade a bit on the run. And Dilo, he's in 7th position at the moment, another Dutchman, so they're really all Dutch up there at the moment, except for Van Gossem in 2nd place, and of course Bianca van Vosik. She's leading the women's race, but her lead has been cutting into after 5 kilometers. From 7 minutes and 10 seconds she was down to 6 minutes and 20, and after 10 kilometers she's coming back toward 20 kilometers now. She was 4 minutes and 50 seconds up, 15, 3 minutes and 40. So Katinka Wildberger, here seen in the picture, at 20 kilometers is now only just a minute and a half behind. So Wildberger, the defending champion, the 36-year-old from Brizaan, is starting to pressurize the Dutch name Australian Bianca van Vosik, and you can see Van Vosik is tiring considerably. And look at the difference in speeds here as Katinka Wildberger. I don't think she's going to stop and have a chat. She's going to go right by. She did have a little gesticulation of some kind, saying, "Come on, Bianca, keep it together." Because, of course, Bianca van Vosik won this event back in 1993 when Jan van der Marl won it for the first time. Cora Vlot down in 3rd position. So what a race by Wildberger. She was a little bit below that time that she was hoping for after the bike ride, but she's certainly getting into gear now, as is Jan van der Marl. Look at the people here. There's something like 10, 15,000 people in this stadium, and they really do love it. Oh, well, this is disaster for Jan van der Marl, the lead vehicle. Whatever is he doing in here? Come on, this is crazy. Well, this is Holland, isn't it? This is Jan van der Marl and Mrs. van der Marl. Here she is. Come on, Mum. Isn't that great? I love it. So van der Marl, he's looking for victory. He's looking for his second victory here in the Holland Triathlon. 28-year-old from Terrar. Has a great tradition in this race, and that's what he's thinking about, the Nissan Almere car, because that's what he's going to get for first prize, provided he finishes, and I think he certainly is. He's coming up towards the finish now, and it's not going to be a bad time for Jan van der Marl. In fact, it's going to be an incredible time. He's just over 8 hours, 8 hours, 1 minute, 8:09. Remember, the second fastest time ever is 8:1:16, and he's under that, 8:1:13. Jan van der Marl, second fastest time ever in the sport. Well, Europe is really getting the grips to this Ironman distance race. Second place is Dirk van Gossen. Just going a bit more on that theme. Dave Scott had, of course, won 8:1:16 in the Japan Ironman back in '89, and it took 7 years for anyone to get under that. Lothar Leder did it earlier this year, and now Jan van der Marl has gone just a fraction over. Well, he nearly got under 8 hours. That was a little disappointing, but on the other hand, what an incredible performance. There they are. They're still locked in battle. Breedijk and Eekman in third and fourth places, respectively. Got a glimpse of Van Gossen. He was nearly 8 minutes behind Jan van der Marl in second position. Big party atmosphere going on. And in fifth position, Svort has moved up through. Marcel Svort has moved up through. He's overtaken Rick van Tricht towards the closing stages. So that's a good performance by him. This is van Tricht coming through in sixth position. Well, what a race for the men. Are we going to go better on the women's race? So this is Jan van der Marl in first position. And they asked him why he didn't get under 8 hours.
I was informed several times the last 10K that it was possible. But I really tried. I really gave the best. I forced everything, but it wasn't possible. But still a very good time.
Well, it certainly was. And how about this? This is Katinka Wiltenberg coming in towards the finish. Only 3 women have ever got under 9 hours. Paula Newby-Fraser, 8 hours 50:53. Thea Sebebsa from Holland, 8:55:29. And Ines Esther from Germany, 8:56:05. And now Katinka Wiltenberg, 8 hours 56 minutes and 57 seconds. Bianca van Vozek, she's down in second position, and she'll be pretty pleased with that. But what a time by Katinka Wiltenberg. Cora Flott, she was down in third position for the woman. There we are, 1, 2, 3, 8 hours, 56 minutes and 57 seconds. Well, we've certainly got another Thea Sebebsa.
To become under 9 hours, and I was only 2 minutes behind that schedule, and I thought then I have to run a little bit faster. But Bianca, she pulled away on the bike, but I had faith in myself. I trusted that I would do it.
Well, she certainly did. That disqualification in route was a blessing in disguise as Jan van der Marl picks up the car for the first prize, a Nissan Almere. I certainly hope they give one to the woman, because Katinka Wiltenberg certainly deserves it. He looks pretty pleased, doesn't he? Well, let's hope he does a little better than that van he's got in his way. So as we go on to the night, they still stagger home. As is the great tradition of Ironman distance events, everyone comes out to support them. It really is an incredible atmosphere, and this has been an incredible day. Jan van der Marl, second fastest ever time over the Ironman distance, and Katinka Wiltenberg joining a select club of only 4 women in the world to go under 9 hours. Well, if she'd done that in Hawaii a couple of years ago, she would have picked up $100,000, but she certainly picks up a nice prize here. And I think you'll agree that the 1996 version of the Holland Triathlon has been extremely successful for Jan van der Marl, the men's winner, and Katinka Wiltenberg, the women's champion. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our coverage on Eurosport. This is Ian Sweet, wishing you well. See you next time for Triathlon.